Hi, welcome back. It's me again, Russell Slack, the founder of Guided Seasons. In 1976, the Teton Dam broke in Idaho. Within hours, a massive wall of water tore through an entire community, and they were forced to evacuate homes, farms, and businesses. They were all destroyed in its path. More than 35,000 people were forced to evacuate their homes, and 11 people died. The destruction stretched for miles. The dam had been designed to hold back an enormous reservoir of water. But once cracks started to form, the pressure behind it just blew out the dam. And in many ways, our retirement savings can look a lot like this reservoir. For decades, you work, you sacrifice, you build and save something meant to support you for the rest of your life. But then a crack forms. And one of the most common cracks that can form in our retirement is that of a critical illness. 71% of us, or every 1.4 people, will have a long term care need caused by a critical or chronic illness. In this video, it's part of a series navigating the decisions of long term care planning. In another video, you'll see me interview a brand expert for senior care services, discussing how to evaluate home care providers before hiring them just based on their branding. You will also find a second expert interview with a senior housing specialist that will talk with us about how to choose the right care facility and navigate contracts. But today we're answering the questions that almost every family eventually asks, and that is, how do I pay for these long-term care services? And more importantly, how modern planning strategies can help reinforce the dam, protecting the reservoir of wealth that you've built over a lifetime. Just to ensure that we're talking about the same thing, we need to start with what defines long-term care and what triggers the need for it. So first, long-term care is not about medical treatment. It's about losing the ability to live independently. It is measured through what are called the 6 activities of daily living, often referred to as ADLs. These are made up of the activities that we do just getting up in the morning. It is transferring from a bed to a wheelchair or just moving. It is toileting. It's then bathing, dressing. Then we eat, and we have continence throughout the day. When someone can no longer perform 2 of those 6 activities of daily living without assistance, or they require supervision because of a cognitive impairment, they qualify for long-term care benefits. And long-term care benefits are often caused by chronic illnesses rather than a sudden accident. Some of those most common critical or chronic illnesses are heart disease, hypertension, atrial fibrillation, diabetes, kidney disease, COPD, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's, stroke, cancer, Alzheimer's, and dementia. I know many seniors that have been inflicted by one of these health trials. These conditions gradually grow until they reduce mobility, reduce strength, or reduce cognitive ability until someone can no longer safely live independently. Statistically, the half of long-term claims come in your 80s, with a quarter of claims starting in your 70s. And once care begins, it's often 3 to 5 years. The costs of that care can be enormous. We're looking at between $5,000 and $8,000 for in-home care, between $6,000 and $9,000 per month for assisted living, and skilled nursing can be north of $120,000 per year. When care lasts several years, families can easily face several $100,000 to a $500,000 of expenses just for one person. And here's something that many families don't realize until they're already in the middle of this crisis. When families begin withdrawing money, it's often from pre-tax retirement accounts, where withdrawals are often fully taxable. So if someone needs $120,000 to pay for care this year, it may actually need to withdraw $160,000 just to cover the taxes. In other words, the cost of care isn't just the bill itself. The tax impact can increase the financial damage by 20 to 30%. And that's when your wealth behind the dam begins its uncontrolled release of funds. This is where modern planning and those strategies can help reinforce the dam, protecting your wealth before the dam cracks. One of the most effective approaches today are asset-backed long-term care solutions. Instead of paying premiums into traditional use or lose it insurance policies, these strategies reposition an existing asset into a financial instrument designed specifically to fund long-term care. The biggest advantage here is leverage. In many cases, these strategies can multiply the amount available for care by up to 300%. But there's another powerful advantage on top of it. In 2006, Congress passed the Pension Protection Act. It created tax advantages for qualified long-term care strategies. This law allows qualified solutions that include long-term care riders to pay for benefits tax-free when used. So not only can these strategies leverage your assets by several times, they may also allow those benefits to be used without creating an additional tax burden. That's huge. That combination can significantly reduce the financial pressure on long-term care and the pressure placed on your retirement plan. There are typically two primary ways that these strategies are structured. One on a hybrid life insurance chassis and another on a hybrid annuity chassis, depending on age and resources. All right, okay, you've stuck with me this long, and I know you're itching for an example of how this leverage works. So let's cover a few. These numbers, while hypothetical, they are based on an actual carrier offerings from an actual client. For this first example, they repositioned $170,000 of an asset to create a leveraged pool of resources that totaled $525,000 for their long-term care need. It will pay out $8,755 over a period of 5 years. Again, tax-free. If you choose to have the inflation rider, this benefit pool increases every year, and at the end of year 10, it's risen to 689,000. That's incredible leverage, where that increase protects your retirement nest egg. But let's say you avoided a health crisis, you never used it. This shows that your protected asset grew to 240,000 and it will still go to your beneficiaries. So you didn't use it or lose it. The next question I often get is, what if I can't reposition an asset as a lump sum? Are there other options? And there are many. This next example involves allocating an asset over a period of time, allowing a tax-wise reallocation trickled over a decade. It's also important to note that this one covers two people with one solution. Here, the couple wanted $628,000 of a pool of benefits that covered both of them. This would be $8,300 a month for 6 years. They chose to allocate funds over a period of time of 10 years to reposition $200,000. That involved 10 equal $20,000 annual premiums. That first premium provided a pool of benefits, the death benefit, and then they continued to fund it year after year. Then, after the 10th year, it's fully funded and it will be a protection for both of them for a lifetime. A very efficient strategy getting more for less. These are not one-size-fits-all solutions. There are numerous other strategies. Choosing the right structure requires a detailed understanding of a family's entire financial picture, much like a chessboard. At Guided Seasons Wealth Advisors, we spend several hours across multiple visits educating families and evaluating the options that best match their goals and needs. We begin by creating a financial snapshot, analyzing the key pieces of a client's financial life. This includes income sources, investment assets, tax exposure, the monthly expenses, retirement goals, legacy wishes, and the potential healthcare risks. From there, we can evaluate the different planning strategies and determine which solutions align with the family's goals and resources. The right strategy for one family may be very different for another. And the goal of these strategies isn't simply just getting insurance. The goal is protecting the reservoir of wealth that you've spent a lifetime building. Careful and comprehensive planning that can reinforce the structure that you built, protecting your retirement goals. At Guided Seasons Wealth Advisors, it's our life's work to guide families to financial peace of mind. And the families who plan ahead are often the ones who sleep better at night, especially if they face a health crisis. If you'd like to learn more about how these strategies can work for you, you can visit guidedseasons.com to schedule a conversation. I hope today helps you reevaluate your own planning and it helps you put into perspective a better financial path. Well, until next time, be well.